Hey guys, Blast again, and this video I'm going to explain coaching because several people have been asking me how to contact me about coaching, how the coaching actually works once it's set up, how much it costs, and other questions like that. So I'm just going to use this video as a way to explain basically how the whole process works. So the first thing I'm going to explain is basically just how to contact me. So my preferred way of you guys contacting me is just using Facebook and using the Messenger. You can use the app on your phone or just do it over the computer if you like to. But there's a couple other ways you can contact me. If you want to just leave me a comment in this video, I can get back to you that way. Sending me a message on YouTube is not a good way to contact me because I never check my messages on Facebook. I mean on YouTube, sorry. I haven't done that in like 2 months. There's probably a bunch of messages from you guys telling me things that I just don't check because I forget to. So that's a bad way to do it. You can also email me. I'll leave my email in the description of this video if you like that. And I'll even give you my phone number if you want, but I know that's kind of personal for some people and it's kind of strange. You can also add me on Skype and contact me that way, but I don't really check my Skype messages. So basically the best ways to contact me are either through email or Facebook because those are the places that I check. So that's how you can get in contact with me. As far as pricing goes, it's just $10 an hour for anyone. It's a flat rate right now. It could increase. The one thing that is never going to change is if you start coaching with me now, I'm never going to increase your rate later on. So for example, if you started coaching with me this week and then 2 months in the future we have premium and you don't have premium and it should be $12, you're never going to have to pay $12 because you don't have premium because you started coaching with me before the rate increased. So it's kind of like a phone plan or something like that. You're never going to get charged more just because I want to start charging more for other people. The way you can pay me is through PayPal. That's the only way I'm accepting money right now. I might open it up so that you can pay me with a credit card or a debit card later, but that's going to need to be through my website and it's going to need a lot of functionality and things like that I don't have at the moment, but I probably will in the future. But at the moment it's just I'm taking payments weekly through PayPal. So if you don't have a PayPal, they're very easy to set up. You just link it to your credit card or your debit card or your bank account and you can pay me like that. It's very simple. So now that you know how to contact me and how to pay me, I can actually explain to you guys what happens and what you get with coaching. So multiple people have asked me what they actually get out of it and why it's important for them and why they might need it or might not need it. And a lot of people actually think that they don't need it and they're good enough and they play well enough to not need coaching anymore. And you might be surprised how much you can actually learn from me. Basically, the things that are going to improve is kind of everything you need to do well at a tournament. So the first thing is your deck lists are going to improve because at the start of every session of coaching, what I like to do is, I mean, anything can be skipped. It's up to you guys. We can, skip or add more of whatever part of the coaching you want. But traditionally, what I'd like to do is start up with me looking at your deck list. We do it over Skype, so you can just spread out your deck list on Skype, or we can share screens and you can show it to me on PTCGO or PlayTCG or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to tell you the suggestions I would make to change your deck list and why I think those changes might improve your gameplay. And then I'm not going to just try and completely transition it into the way I would like to run the deck or my deck list. I'm going to kind of back and forth, pull and tug, and see if we can get a happy medium between what you're using and what I'm using to kind of make it the best we can make it for your playstyle. And I kind of don't like the idea of a playstyle, but I know a lot of people do. So anyway, I went over that in my last video. But basically, that's how we start the coaching, is I just help you with your deck list. Then the next thing we do is we just play games, basically. We're going to practice out games. I like to play in a rather quick manner if possible because it makes it so I can fit more games into our coaching session so we can get like an exponential amount of growth in that time. But we're not just going to be playing regular games. We can do it that way if you want and just regular testing. But what I like to do instead is have my clients play open-handed so that I can look at their hand while they're taking their turn and help them make decisions so that they know how to make the right play every turn instead of accidentally making the same mistake over and over again. A lot of people will make very minuscule mistakes that actually end up mattering a lot in the future. For example, if you have a hand with a Trainer's Mail and a Manectric in it, say you're playing Mega Manectric, you probably want to put that Manectric down pretty much no matter what. But it's actually a mistake to put that Manectric down before you play the Trainer's Mail, because the Trainer's Mail may influence if you want to put down the Manectric or not. It probably won't matter, but little things like this add up a lot, and it'll be the difference between you getting second at regionals and first sometimes. So these are the type of things that I would tell you if you were taking your turn and I could see your hand and we're playing together. So I just give you guys little tips like that. And then while it's my turn, I also play open-handed so that I can explain to you guys the plays that I'm making and why they are the right plays as well. It might not help as much because I'm usually playing a deck that you're probably planning on not using, but at the same time, it's better than me just sitting there making plays while you don't really learn anything. So I think it's important that I include, my explanation of my plays and things like that as well. You guys also get to pick what decks you want to test against. It's not like I have a set deck list of decks, I guess, that I'm testing against everyone with every week. You guys can send me messages and contact me and tell me what you want to test against every week. And sometimes I'll say things like, well, maybe you don't want to test against this because I don't think it's going to be very popular, or I think you already have a good matchup against this, so maybe you don't want to try to play against it very much. But for the most part, I'm just going to, do whatever you guys want, and then I'll use whatever list you want as well. So I like to use my list because I tend to think my lists are better than the other lists that you can find on the internet. But if you guys would rather test against something that you think is a little more standard or a little more cookie cutter, like a list that you could get from, I don't know, maybe Team Fish Knuckles, like for example, Squeaky's Aromatisse Giratina deck, Squeaky's Aromatisse Giratina deck, I would say is very straightforward. There's no real weird text or anything like that. But if you went to my list, I might run something like Malamar or even Xerneas EX or something like that. So this is just an example, by the way. But if that was the case and you guys wanted to test against something that you might expect to see a little more of instead of something that I might think is a little better, no offense, Squeaky. It's an example. You guys have the choice to choose what you want to test against, basically, is all I'm getting at here. I'm also going to give you guys insight on what the best deck I think is to play for the next upcoming tournament. So if you're telling me that the next thing you're going to go to is a standard cities, which is probably the case for most people, standard or expanded cities, I'll tell you what deck I think is going to be the best choice for it. And if you say that doesn't work for you, well, I'll give you a second option, or I'll tell you how to tech out your deck to kind of beat what I expect your metagame to be. And then another big part about why it's beneficial for you to do coaching with me is, as long as you're coaching at least once a week with me for at least 1 hour, that's all it takes, is just once a week for 1 hour. Honestly, this benefit is probably worth the $10 alone. You're going to get access to all of my deck lists. So that's expanded and standard. You can, ask me for a deck list whenever you want, and I'll just send you the list that I have at the moment. And I'm always working on my decks. I'm testing, every week, and I'm practicing with people and improving these decks. So you're gonna get updated, solid, strong decks like the ones that I use for tournaments and things like that. If you ask me for my Yveltal list the day before a regionals and I'm using Yveltal, you're gonna get the same 60 that I'm using. And what this also means is you guys can contact me with questions whenever you want. I know I have one client that asks me questions pretty much daily. We're just talking pretty frequently, and that's totally fine with me. You guys can ask me questions whenever you want, and I'll give you tips and help you out however I can. Assuming you're coaching 1 hour every week, it's $40 a month, and you get access to my deck lists. I help you with your deck lists. I make you a better player, and I give you predictions on what is going to be a good deck for the metagame. So I think that's actually an incredible rate. I know if I was in you guys' position, I would definitely take up that offer. And I wish something was like this. I wish somebody offered something like this when I was a newer player, because I definitely would have taken advantage of it. I'm not trying to just boast here, but I'm serious. This is actually a very good deal for you guys, and it's something you probably should take advantage of. So if all of this sounds good to you, or if any of it interests you, you can just contact me in any of the ways that I told you earlier in the video. And if not, then you're free to keep watching my YouTube videos. So I guess that's about it. Like if you like the video, comment if you want to tell me something, and subscribe for more. Have a nice day.